And there we go. Yes, so Simply Red there, and sunrise. And that's what Ingrid was telling us about. She had her really nice sunrise this morning. Tis that time of the morning. I tell you, good morning to you, Alex.
Good morning, Jerry. How you doing?
You know, I'm going to strangle that frigging woman. Really?
Yeah, sorry. I could
The
only start the
broadcast.
recording after the music
Why
goes
don't we turn
down.
the damn thing off? I mean, a message comes up on the screen. Why does it have to say it?
I have no idea. Maybe for people who are who can't read the screen because they have vision problems or things like that. I'm sorry. I start the recording as soon as the music drops because
Oh, I
otherwise,
know,
if I
because
upload,
the problem is it comes into the same slider on the console.
yeah, I'm
So
sorry
there's no
about
way,
that.
unless I've switched over, which I'll have to do. I'll have to make a point, in actual fact, of keeping the other one running when we start. Anyway, apart from that, how you been? Because we missed you last week.
Busy, very busy, which is a great thing, especially in these trying times that we're living in. I've been pretty busy with a lot of things, things that I have to do uh, for TV, for radio, for the people that I take care of, and yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks. A lot of work, which is always welcome, and a lot of new challenges as such. You know, I've had some very interesting couple of days, and having fun at it, which is the most important part. That's one of the great things about working at something that I like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, well, good. And let me see what else. What else we've got to catch up on? We're going to be talking today. You said you wanted to talk about alternative streaming or alternative things other than Netflix.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the times, Netflix, you'll find it has become, part of the local vernacular in the sense that, when people are referring to just, streaming and things like that, the first thing that comes to mind is Netflix, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's out there beyond Netflix. And for people who are finally, after so many years of paying for cable and unwillingly pretty much subsidizing a lot of the bad programming that's out there. I mean, when you have a cable package, you pay like 30 or $40 or whatever, um, for a bunch of channels out of which you probably just like one, but you're
Mhm.
paying for all of them, so all of them get a share of your money. So you're, in a way, even paying for the bad programming that's on the other channels or the programming that you don't like. And the great thing about streaming services is that you can pay for the ones that you like, and you can stop your membership, start it at any time. I mean, have you ever tried getting out of a contract that any of the local providers here in Panama? It's a pain. They'll
Mhm.
try everything in their power. By the way, I'm enjoying my breakfast show mug,
Oh, yes.
some
Yeah.
coffee.
Mm. So that's two on one program. There's that one and this one.
Exactly. So the thing is, a lot of people are looking for, alternatives, in the sense that a lot of the content has left Netflix for some of the other, services,
Hmm.
because of different deals and how other services have come up in the last couple of months. So I thought, you know what? Let's talk about some of these services, see which ones are available in Panama, which ones aren't, and the ones that aren't, well, is there a way for us to have them that's not dangerous or gonna get us into trouble or anything like that? So I thought we might start with some of these services.
Look, and
Hmm.
just quickly, because the
Hmm.
argument that I always hear is about, well, we needed to see the local channel.
Hmm.
Guess what? I mean, this is my cell phone. I have a little
Yep.
program on here. It's called the app is actually called TV Panama en Vivo, and you've got all the local channels on your phone. And if it's on your phone, you can do it on your tablet or whatever. So there is a way out of that as well. I mean, I agree with you that there's okay. I have Netflix. I have I have Prime because of my Amazon links. That's it. But I also have BritBox, and there's other things I can. But I do that through I do it through Amazon.
Yeah,
So
that's one of the other things. For example, Hulu is another service that's not readily available right now here in Panama, but you can use it through a VPN, which you can run either on your device, like the one you have, or like the phone or the tablet or the computer. Or you can also, in some cases, use devices like an Android TV box or an Amazon Fire Stick, which you can run VPN software on and pretend you're in somewhere in the US or
mhm.
UK and so on. So I've split my screen for, the people that are watching this after the fact online, showing some of the pricing for Hulu. Hulu is $5.99 a month. And if you don't want ads, which is interesting, I don't know if there are other services that do this. Hulu has brief ads before content, like the trailers of the movies when you go to the
Mhm,
movie theater.
mhm.
And that's for $5.99 a month. That's the subscription, for example, that I have. If you don't want ads, you can pay $12 and you get a little bit more functionality, like you can download the program and then watch it later. This is great for people who travel and want to watch something when they're offline or away from a connection and so on.
Why?
And
Just quickly. I mean, why would I pay that much for Hulu because I don't have ads? When I pay less than that for Netflix and I don't have ads.
that's an interesting proposition. Maybe you want some of the programming that's on Hulu and you don't want the ads, and you want the capability of downloading things or whatever. I mean, it's their pricing strategy. I I
You can download
On
on
Netflix.
on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Hmm.
So what does Hulu offer me that Netflix isn't?
A whole bunch of series, a whole bunch of movies that are not on Netflix. It's just an alternative. One thing that I like from Hulu that is not on Netflix is The Handmaid's Tale. They also do have bundles like with Disney Plus, which they want 13.99 a month. You get Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, for example, for 13.99. But you get ads. If you don't want ads, you pay 19.99, which is again a little bit steep. That
Well,
being said, mhm.
I mean, I find, I agree with you 100%. I have a cable package which gives me
Mhm.
250 odd channels or whatever, and HD and all this and everything else, which is great. But I probably only watch 5 channels
Mhm.
out of the lot, and a lot of them, for instance, some of them, I guess, because they're older, not all of them are in HD.
Mhm.
So there is an issue there. But the thing is, you're going to get into this, like you were saying. Okay, I've got Netflix.
Mhm.
But then if I want HBO Plus, I got to go and register for that. If I want Disney, I got to register for that. If I want this, so it becomes a thing. It's like these days in Panama when you want to go to the supermarket. Oh well, I get my bread in this supermarket. Oh, but I want to get my meat. I buy that in that supermarket because there's not necessarily any consistency in the sort of quality. So we're getting into the same thing here, and without it's not going to take very long before you're paying more than you're paying for the 251 channels that you get from your provider.
Which is why a lot of people sometimes just wait for some season of something to come out. Like, for example, The Handmaid's Tale. I have my Hulu subscription while The Handmaid's Tale is playing, and then when the season's over, then I suspend my subscription and don't pay for it. While I'm subscribed to Hulu and have my subscription online, I watch a lot of other Hulu content that I'm kind of interested in, but I'm not in a hurry to, go and pay them $6 to watch. So I kind of pick and choose depending on, it's like using your same supermarket analogy, it's like, okay, I'll get the bread I like when I have to run some additional errands in that supermarket or something like that. I mean, you try to manage the best way you could. And again, this is a game of complexity, how much complexity you want. I know and I understand a lot of people don't want any complexity in their lives, so they just pay 60 bucks for a 250 channel package or something and then just watch whatever. That being said, if you just want to watch whatever, there are alternatives. For example, there's one called, let me see if I can pull this up here. Pluto TV is an interesting offering. Pluto TV, let me get that there. Thought I opened, yeah, here it is. For example, right now it's playing Blue's Clues on Pluto TV. And there's like a whole bunch of channels of all kinds, like news and comedy and lifestyle. In fact, there's even one channel that I watch a lot on another service called Plex.tv. It's got a whole bunch of free movies and TV on that service. That's Plex.tv. And one of them is the Johnny Carson TV channel, which it just plays Johnny Carson 24/7 all the time.
You know, that is called torture. You know, that shouldn't be allowed. The United Nations should be banning that. I mean, but you see, the thing is that, you know, then you're picking choosing. So I've got to go and pick and choose which I want. When, you know, to be perfectly honest, I can watch most of that on YouTube.
That could be, you know, something that you could do, for example, for a lot of content like old Carol Burnett shows or something like that. But if you want to watch, for example, something like a series like The Mandalorian, you have to go to Disney Plus, which is another service that's already available in Latin America. And August 11th, they're going to be playing What If, which is Marvel Studios' latest offering, which is alternate histories of our
Okay.
beloved Marvel Universe
Yeah,
characters.
well, I do subscribe to Disney.
Yeah,
But,
and
but,
even
but,
though they're
but the thing is, it can get out of control, can't it? Oh, well, I want to watch this. And, you know, I subscribe to BritBox through Amazon. The reason I do
Mhm.
that is because I like to watch the old British TV
Like Faulty
um,
Towers and things like that.
and things like Midsummer Murders and, you know, which
A
is
bit of
really
Fry
good.
and Laurie.
And the two, that Midsummer Murders, I mean, I hate that they've got so many seasons. I mean, you can watch that till you die. But the thing is, just sort of going off track, the amazing thing is that this is all about a little village in rural England, which probably has a higher murder rate than Chicago. Yeah, because it's been going for all these seasons, and there's always somebody getting killed. But the thing is, I mean, I don't watch much TV. I mean, this is the thing. I don't really have, to be honest, the time to watch a lot of TV. So I find that with my Netflix and whatever, this is and my 251 channels but that's my fault for not watching them, because there's some good stuff on there. There's all the movie channels, there's everything. And now one of the good things is with the TV is the playback. What I found, I'm using my TV a lot more now. In actual fact, yesterday or last week, I got a letter from Cable and Wireless saying, we're redoing all the cables in your area, or they're redone. You're going to lose your current service because we're going completely digital. So we went and queued yesterday afternoon because we had to tell them or whatever. So anyway, that took a while. And that's quite an experience, queuing now for the likes of cable, not just Cable and Wireless, but the queues outside for all of them. So that is being updated, and all the equipment is being renewed, different boxes, etc. And they're coming today. Believe it or not, they called me yesterday afternoon and said, we're coming tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Now, the thing is with that is that I've got those 251 channels. I can go now to basically any channel, like I like some of the motoring ones. I just go back and I push a little button and I play it back from before, or I can pause what I'm watching and whatever. So it's changing to the point of view that it's much more adaptable to my lifestyle, being able to go back and watch things that I couldn't watch because I'm busy.
Yeah. Now, that's, for people who don't want any complexity, and I understand that. That being said, a lot of people, especially the younger people, are just picking and choosing different services depending on what's seasonally available. For example, right now Marvel has been spacing out its series like Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and so on, just so that it keeps people's interest long enough for them to continue being subscribed to Disney. Also, there's a lot of Star Wars content that's being renewed and so on. There's not much content besides the Disney content, and I think they're doing that on purpose. That being said, for people who want to have more content, like The Handmaid's Tale, which is on Hulu, and it's kind of hard to get that if you don't have a VPN and so on.
I can live without that because I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's actually pretty good. If I could recommend a series for you, because it's really intellectual, really gripping, and it shows you a glimpse of what could happen if certain groups actually grabbed power, in the US or any other country. The thing is, Paramount Plus is $4.99 a month, and you get a lot of the shows that are on Hulu on Paramount Plus, besides all the Star Trek stuff, and there's a whole bunch of Paramount content that's there, some exclusive content. I don't know if you've heard about Apple TV Plus, which is another service. You're getting that for free if you're buying a new iPhone or iPad or whatever. I think you get like a free year or something like that of service. And it's got some interesting series as well that are exclusive to Apple TV Plus. There's Peacock, which is NBC's version of its streaming service. That's not available in Latin America. There used to be a service called Crackle that's not available now, but there's Canal Sony. Let's see what else. HBO Max made its debut in a couple of weeks ago, and they have an interesting offer right now until July 31st. Half off forever, as soon as long as you remain a customer. You can get $1.99 a month if you're just going to run it on mobile, like iOS or Android, and $2.99 a month if you're going to run it everywhere else, even up to 4K definition. So that's not a bad price, but that's kind of their hook. If you weasel out of the service for whatever reason, it's going to cost you $6 a month. So instead of $2.99. So that's going to be interesting. That's one way of them, getting access to a large user base right at the beginning.
But then again, you've got to use a VPN for that.
No, not with HBO Max. Nope, it's available in Latin America.
You get access to everything?
Yeah, everything that's on the HBO Max catalog, including Friends, which up to last year was on Netflix. Now it's going to be on HBO Max, as well as Game of Thrones and every other, HBO Max thing, including a couple of superhero flicks are going to be on HBO Max and so on. So it's going to be interesting to watch. In fact, I'm kind of on the fence, about subscribing, but for $3 a month, maybe I'll think about it.
Because one of the things with me is that there is such a diverse content on Netflix, and my time is limited. So, if it was a situation whereby Netflix really couldn't satisfy my needs, and also combined with Amazon Prime, I do have a very good sort of spectrum of choice. I don't want to get into the business of, I go around every year, I go on to Google and I have a look and see what subscriptions I got, because it's so easy to forget what you're paying for. And I go through and I delete a load of them that are no longer applicable. So, I would end up paying monthly for HBO Max when I don't really have time to sit down and watch it, which is the same issue that I have with my cable provider.
Yep, that kind of happens. That being said, there's one thing that you can do with these streaming services that you can't do with your cable provider, which is share it with your family. And these streaming services are perfectly not only aware, but they're perfectly fine with it, in the sense that they'd rather have one subscriber than no subscribers. And for example, the HBO Max thing lets you use 3 devices at one time. So you could share it with, any of your loved ones and, share the cost in that. And maybe your loved ones do have a little bit more time than you do. For example, I know my mother has a lot more free time than I do, and she watches a lot of Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the stuff that I'm subscribed to, even Disney Plus as well. So, you also kind of do it for their benefit. And they have, their own internet connection and whatever. They can't really share your cable TV.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's one way a lot of families are doing. 2, 3 families get together. Most of these services let you use 2 or 3 devices at the same time. So you kind of do it that way. And it lets you download up to 5 movies on the mobile device, that's HBO, and 30 movies on the standard price, which is interesting. I don't know that Netflix has a limit on that. Have you ever downloaded like a lot of movies on your phone from Netflix?
No, because the only time I have done it is if I was traveling anywhere,
Mm.
which I've not been, like a lot of people, not been doing for a long time.
Looking
Um,
forward to it though.
yes, trust me. But no, so I've never really gone to any limit with that. But I find that a good service. I mean, it was very good
Mhm,
when I was traveling. You can have it on your laptop, or you can have it on your tablet and just sort of watch it at leisure on the plane.
mhm,
So I just as I said, I'm not such a big TV watcher. If I get I'm one of these people. I guess I sort of sit for a long time fiddling with YouTube. Um, and of course, that to me, that is a great service, and I do pay for that. I pay for the premium,
mhm,
and I get access to some great stuff. For instance, if I want to change something on my car, you can guarantee that somebody has done a little video on there telling you exactly how you do it. So these are the
mhm,
kind of things that I'm inclined to watch. Now, obviously, I'm not like a lot of viewers that want access. I mean, for instance, Andreas has got HBO Max, he's got Disney, he's got this, he's got that. The question is do I need it? I'm satisfied with what I can. I can't watch everything I want to watch on Netflix. There's too much there. The same with Amazon Prime. So, and I'm not really up to what is being released at this time or whatever. And Netflix bring in a lot of new stuff as well. So, do I need it? And I guess the answer for me personally is no.
Now, one thing that we might all need is a little bit more curiosity in our lives and knowledge. There's this service that I also recommend a lot called Curiosity Stream. It's like Netflix for nerds in the sense that you have so many documentaries that you can look at, like hundreds and hundreds of documentaries on all sorts of different topics like history and science and technology and so on. And it's 19.99 a year, which
Mm,
is, I think,
okay.
pretty reasonable. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, not to, there's a lot of documentary stuff on Netflix and Amazon Prime, but this service, Curiosity Stream, is just focused on the science. So you get all sorts of different, I'm kind of showing this on the screen for the people listening in, all sorts of different documentaries on, anything from like the Nazi history, science space and technology,
Mm-hmm.
unsolved mysteries, food. They even have a whole section called Curiosity Kids where they explain scientific concepts in simpler terms and in a more entertaining way. So if you want to inspire your kids to watch something that's going to be, edifying, I would really recommend Curiosity Stream as well. That's a great service to have, along the Netflixes and Amazon Prime videos of the world.
Can you download the app so you access that on your TV, on your smart
Yeah,
TV?
there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of smart TVs that have the Curiosity Stream channel and the Roku box and the Fire TV, Amazon, and so on. Or you can just stream it from your device onto your TV as well. So
Mm-hmm.
there's always a way. And one of the great things is, for those long trips or whatever, instead of just watching SpongeBob or something like that, you can actually watch something that's gonna, tickle your senses in the sense that you're gonna, get a lot more out of it
Hmm.
historically, scientifically.
So you
So
have something against SpongeBob.
I have nothing against
It is
SpongeBob.
intellectual. If you're 6 years of age, that is intellectual.
Okay, okay.
Uh, but no, I mean, I think it's I guess what if I was actually retired,
Hmm.
I would probably spend a bit more time. But then I don't want to become a couch potato.
Exactly.
What we do though is, and what I'm also inclined to do, if I find something which I like, which is good, I have this habit of binge watching.
Yeah.
Uh, good British police series called Line of Duty. And they're only sort of 6 episodes, but they're 6 hour long episodes to each sort of series. And I just want, oh, what happens next? Oh, let me see. And then you end up watching a bit too much.
Yeah, by the fourth episode, your TV's going like, Jerry, are you still there? Are you still awake?
Actually, no, take this. We were watching the one we really enjoyed. Is Kominsky Method, all right,
Mhm,
with Michael Douglas.
mhm.
That's great. That's a great series. And they had a lot of episodes, but the episodes were only half an hour long. And so on a Saturday night, we'd sit down and we'd watch these. And after we'd watched, I think, about four, a little screen would come up and say, basically, are you still there? You know, do you want to continue? You know, yes, please. Okay, just checking.
But
Uh,
yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot that I can recommend. For example, right now there's a series called That Made Us on Netflix. There's the toys that made us, the movies that made us, the holiday movies that made us. They're series that describe these movies and toys that kind of defined an entire generation back in the 70s and 80s. I
mhm.
mean, everything from Back to the Future to Masters of the Universe with He-Man and Skeletor and so on. I think it's one of the great series that, not only brings nostalgia to the screen, but also a lot of information that a lot of us were not aware of about these beloved characters, settings, movies, and toys that were part of an entire generation. What would you recommend to our viewers right now if they were looking for something to watch?
Well, as I say, it depends what you want. I just mentioned the Kaminsky method, which I know people, and I don't know anybody that hasn't enjoyed it yet. I mean, it's serious, but it's got fantastic. It's got a fantastic comedy element to it because the script is extremely good, and that is definitely worth a watch. The Kaminsky method. And if you do like, I mean, they're very different to the American style. But if you get to the likes of, if you like British TV, then BritBox is the way to go. You can go back and watch some of the old series that have been on TV, like Are You Being Served, some of the comedy series like that. And I don't know. I think Doctor Who is probably on there somewhere as well.
Yeah,
But
and I think it's coming back. The next season is coming soon, so let's hope for that.
whoever came up with that idea about being able to change the main character was very, very, very smart. How long has
I
that
really
series
think
been?
so.
It's been going since I was a kid, I think.
Yeah, November 22nd, 1963. That's
I was
the,
a kid. Yeah.
yeah. And the
I
fact
was
that I
born.
remember the date, it was because it was the same day that Kennedy got shot, and they had to rebroadcast that, I think, the next day or the next week because
Right.
nobody was able to see it because everybody's eyes
Mm,
around the world was on the Kennedy assassination. So
mm,
yeah, it debuted that long ago. It's only a matter of, a year and a half before it's like, it's 50th anniversary. So
mm,
no, 60th or no, well, anyways, yeah, almost 60th anniversary. So it's interesting how that series has stuck with us so long.
mhm, mhm. One thing I would sort of, I mean, the Netflix have been bringing out some very good documentaries. A lot of them have been done in conjunction with the BBC, who've been renowned for doing good documentaries. But I noticed now they're sort of getting to some, like there was one I thought I wanted to watch. I can't remember the name of it offhand. I'm probably be able to get it on the screen. But it was a documentary about a murder. I think it was in Wales about this woman who French woman who disappeared. She was murdered, but it was inconclusive, and I don't necessarily really want to watch a documentary that doesn't have an ending. You know, it's so I find that a little bit annoying. I like to have some kind of end result, and it's like, well, yes, you know, this is still pending, and so on and so forth. But see if I've got it here. Oh, a lot of British TV shows here. Got Marcella, The English Game, Churchill's Secret Agents, The New Recruits. These are all sort of on Netflix. Only on Netflix. Kaminsky. Continue watching. Let me see if it comes up here. One thing is that because the series 2 and series 3 of Stranger Things. Well, I watched series 1, but I hadn't watched series 2 and 3. So I've now gone back to series 1 to watch it so that I can remember what it was about. Shadow and Bone, that's one that's been recommended to me. Got to watch that. I'm just seeing if it's no, it's not showing the documentary I watched. But anyway, you just have to be a little bit picky about what you want to watch.
Yeah, because you don't have that much time because you lead a busy life. So you have to be very picky about what you spend your time with. And, you know, you get a lot of, first of all, you get this kind of Netflix guilt where, you know, you watch like 4 episodes of a series and then you feel committed, but it starts getting like, you know, to be either boring or uninteresting, or they jump the shark or whatever. And you go like, you know what, I've got so much invested in it. Maybe I'll finish this series and see if it picks up or whatever. It brings interesting new challenges, because it used to be that you could just, you know, if the series was bad, you would just, you know, switch the channel or do something else. But now it's like you've got, you know, invested so much time and emotion on these characters. I mean, a lot of people were pretty angry with the ending of Game of Thrones, for example. So yeah, there's that. So we're definitely living in interesting times, and entertainment as we used to know it is definitely changing. A lot of stuff that we used to take for granted, we don't have it anymore, and a lot of stuff that you know, that was true back then still rings true today. So I think we're living in very interesting times in that regard as well.
I'm just looking at some of the things here, from the African savanna to the Peruvian desert. Lives of predators and prey are closely linked to the moon cycles. That's a documentary on Netflix. That would be probably quite interesting. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there. It's a question of time. I mean, we used to have a thing called Desert Islanders. So if somebody was, you know, on an island and they were stranded, what records would they take with them, or what book would they take with them? Well, now, as long as the island had Wi-Fi, I mean, I'd take Netflix. Yeah. Sign of the times.
Definitely.
Well,
Now, what I would bring would be a deck of cards. I would start playing solitaire, and only a few minutes after I start, I would get somebody tapping on the shoulder and said, "The red 7 goes on the black 8," and I'd be saved.
yes,
So yeah,
absolutely. Well, look, we're coming up to the top of the hour, Alex. As always, interesting topic this week, and I said I think everybody's entirely up to, you know, everybody has their own preferences and what they want to watch. Of course, it comes down to if there is something special, something that particularly appeals to you, then, like you say, you may sort of want to switch and watch for that. But I'm going to try. Perhaps my resolution will be to perhaps try and watch more of the 251 channels.
one thing that I do want to say before I leave is all the stuff that they offer out there saying, "Oh, look at this IPTV service." It's mostly pirated, and you're basically paying for, you know, stolen media in that regard. And just be careful. A lot of the apps out there that say, you know, get free HBO on your Android, they usually have, you know, some other caveat there, or infect your devices or whatever. So be careful with that.
Okay, Alex. Well, as always, thanks very much, and with a bit of luck, we'll see you next week.
See you then.
All right, take care. All the best. Dr.
You too.
Computer.